My wife whispered, "It was just one night." I answered, "So was our marriage." Filed divorce silently, transferred assets legally, disappeared overnight. Her affair partner ghosted her when he realized I'd left her with nothing but regret. Hey Reddit. It was just one night. Those 5 words came out of her mouth at 2:47 a.m. on a Tuesday, whispered like a confession in church, like that somehow made it sacred instead of sickening. I was 38 years old, sitting on the edge of our bed in boxers and a t-shirt, holding her phone with a text thread that read like a bad romance novel. She stood in the doorway of our master bathroom, mascara streaked down her face, wearing the black dress she'd worn to her book club meeting. Just one night, I repeated, my voice flat. Interesting, because our marriage? That was just one night too. June 14th, 2014. Took about 6 hours total, including the reception. Her face crumpled. That's not what I meant. Please, we can fix this. I set the phone down on the nightstand, screen still glowing with messages I'd never be able to unsee. There's nothing to fix. You threw away 10 years for one night. That's your choice. Now I'm making mine. The thing about betrayal is that it doesn't announce itself with trumpets. It creeps in wearing familiar clothes, using words you've heard 1,000 times before. 3 months earlier, everything had seemed fine. Better than fine, actually. We'd just returned from a vacation in Costa Rica. 2 weeks of beaches, zip-lining, morning coffee on our private balcony. She'd held my hand during the sunset tours. We'd made love with the ocean breeze coming through the windows. Looking back now, I realized she'd already met him by then. Derek, 32 years old, personal trainer at the gym she'd joined in February. The gym she suddenly couldn't miss, not even for our anniversary dinner planning. I need this, she'd said when I suggested we spend more evenings together. It's not just about fitness. It's about me having something that's mine, you know? I'd understood, or thought I did. I worked 60-hour weeks as a structural engineer, building my way toward partner. Our life was comfortable, 4-bedroom house in a good neighborhood, 2 cars paid off, a vacation fund that actually had money in it. I'd thought I was building us a foundation. Turns out I was just building her a safety net to jump from. The Tuesday night, I found out, started normally enough. I'd come home from work around 7, loosened my tie, and called out the usual greeting. No answer. Her car was in the driveway, but the house felt empty in that particular way that raises the hair on your neck. I found a note on the kitchen counter. Book club running late. Don't wait up. Love you. The love you part almost made me laugh when I found her phone an hour later, forgotten on the charger in the laundry room. She'd rushed out so fast she'd left it behind. I wasn't snooping. That's what I told myself when it buzzed with a text, and I glanced at the screen. Derek, can't wait to have you in my bed again. Last week wasn't enough. My hands went numb. The phone nearly slipped through my fingers. I sat down on the laundry room floor, back against the dryer, and opened it. No password. She'd never needed one because I'd never looked. The messages went back 4 months. 4 months. March 15th. You made me feel alive today. I haven't felt this way in years. April 3rd. I can't stop thinking about your hands on me. April 30th. I know this is wrong, but nothing's ever felt so right. May 22nd. We should be careful. I don't want him to find out yet. Yet. That word sat in my chest like a stone. I was still sitting there when she came home at 2:15 a.m. I heard the garage door open, heard her heels clicking on the tile floor, heard her pause when she saw me sitting in the kitchen with all the lights off except the small one over the stove. Hey, she said, voice artificially bright. You're still up? Book club go well? I asked. Yeah, we had a great discussion about. What book are you reading? She froze. What? Simple question. What book is your book club reading this month? Her mouth opened, closed, opened again. Why are you asking me this? I held up her phone. The screen illuminated both our faces in the dim kitchen. She went completely white. That's how did you? You left it here. Derek texted. I read everything. The silence that followed was the kind that breaks things. Not just hearts. Entire lives. I can explain, she finally said. Please don't. No, listen, it's not what you think. It's exactly what I think. I stood up, my knees cracking from sitting too long. For months. You've been sleeping with him for 4 months. It was just, don't you dare say it was just sex. She stepped toward me, hands reaching out like she could physically grab the words she needed. I made a mistake. A terrible, horrible mistake. But we can work through this. People do. Couples survive affairs. Not this couple. Please. Her voice broke. Please, just give me a chance to. To what? To explain why you texted him, "I love you" on our anniversary? To justify why you were sending him pictures in lingerie I bought you for Valentine's Day? To make me understand why you lied to my face every single day for a third of a year. Tears were streaming down her face now. Real ones, not the pretty kind from movies. I don't know what happened. I don't know why I did this. He made me feel different. Different how? Exciting. Wanted. Like I mattered. I felt something crack inside my chest. You didn't feel wanted? You're always working. You're tired. We barely talk anymore. I felt invisible. So instead of talking to me about it, you fucked a personal trainer. She flinched like I'd hit her. Don't say it like that. How should I say it? You had an affair? You stepped out on our marriage? You betrayed every vow you made? Pick your favorite euphemism. They all mean the same thing. That's when she said it. When she whispered those 5 words that sealed everything. It was just one night. I didn't sleep that night. I made her sleep in the guest room while I sat in my home office, staring at spreadsheets I couldn't process. By morning, I had a plan. I called in sick to work for the first time in 3 years. Then I called Mitchell, my college roommate, who'd become a divorce attorney in our city. "I need your help," I said. "And I need you to keep this completely confidential." "What's going on?" "I'm getting divorced. As of right now. And I need to do it right." Mitchell was at my office within 2 hours with paperwork and a recorder. "Tell me everything." I did. Every detail. Every text message I'd photographed on my phone for evidence. Every lie. Every secret meeting. Every time she blamed her absence on yoga or book club or coffee with friends. "For months," Mitchell said, shaking his head. "And you just found out last night?" "Last night. How do you want to play this?" "I want to protect myself. Legally, financially, emotionally. I want out clean." "Any kids?" "No. We were waiting until I made partner." "Assets?" "House is in both names. We have joint accounts, joint investments. I make about 70% of our household income." Mitchell pulled out a legal pad. "Here's what we're going to do." The next week was the strangest of my life. I went to work, came home, made dinner, slept in the guest room while she tried repeatedly to talk, to explain, to convince me we could repair what she'd shattered. "I ended it," she said on Thursday. "I told Derek we're done. I chose you. I choose us. You don't get to choose anymore. You used up your choices." "That's not fair." "Fair." I looked up from my laptop. "You want to talk about fair? What's fair is that I trusted you. What's fair is that I worked myself to exhaustion to build us a good life. What's fair is that I never once looked at another woman the way you looked at him." I know, and I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Sorry doesn't unwrite 4 months of messages. Sorry doesn't undo the fact that you chose him over me every single time you lied. She tried a different approach. Tears. Promises. She suggested counseling, therapy, a trial separation instead of divorce. She brought up our wedding photos, our vacation memories, inside jokes from 10 years together. "Remember when we got stuck in that rainstorm in Seattle?" she asked. "How we ran into that bookstore and spent 3 hours there until it passed." I remember. That was us. That's who we are. That was who we were. Past tense. Behind the scenes, Mitchell was filing paperwork. We weren't in a fault state, but we didn't need to be. What we needed was documentation, division of assets, and speed. I opened a separate bank account she didn't know about. I started transferring my paychecks there. I contacted our investment broker and started the process of separating our holdings. Everything legal. Everything documented. Everything by the book. I wasn't trying to leave her with nothing. I was trying to leave her with exactly what she'd earned. Her half of what we'd built, minus the trust she'd burned. The official divorce papers were served 2 weeks after that Tuesday night. A process server showed up at the house while we were both there, handed her the envelope, and left. She stared at the papers like they were written in a foreign language. "You actually did it. I told you I would. I thought you'd cool down. I thought we'd talk more. There's nothing more to say." "Yes, there is." Her voice rose. "There's everything to say. I made a mistake. I'm human. I fucked up. But you're just giving up? After 10 years, you're just walking away?" "You walked away first. I'm just making it official." She read through the papers, her hands shaking. "You want the house sold? Split 50-50. It's in the paperwork. The investment's divided? 50-50. You're taking the Audi, I get the Honda? You can have the Audi if you want. I don't care about the cars." She looked up at me, And for the first time I saw a real panic in her eyes. You're serious? You're really doing this? Yes. What about Derek? What about him? He said we could try dating. Officially. Once this was sorted out, something cold settled in my stomach. You've been talking to him. Not like before. Just talking. About the future. You told him we're getting divorced. She nodded. And he said he'd date you officially. Another nod. Good, I said. Then you'll have someone. Relief flooded her face. She actually smiled. So you understand? This could work out for both of us. You can find someone too. Someone who's better for you. I didn't answer. Just walked to my car and drove to my new apartment, the one-bedroom place I'd rented downtown, close to my office. Mitchell had helped me move my important possessions over the weekend while she was at her sister's house. The divorce moved faster than she expected. No kids, no complicated assets, and I wasn't fighting anything. I just wanted out. 8 weeks after I found those messages, we signed the papers. The house went on the market. Our accounts were divided. Our decade together reduced to a manila folder in a lawyer's office. She'd dressed up for the signing, done her hair, put on makeup, worn a dress I used to love. Like she was going to a funeral and wanted to look good for the mourners. I never meant to hurt you, she said as we walked out of the office. But you did. I know. I just want you to know that I loved you. I do love you. I just got confused. Love isn't confusing. It's the simplest thing in the world. You either choose someone every day or you don't. I chose wrong. Yeah, you did. We stood in the parking lot for a moment. This woman I'd spent a third of my life with, now a stranger with familiar eyes. What happens now? She asked. You move on. I move on. That's how this works. With Derek? I don't care who you move on with. She winced. He's been distant lately. That's not my problem. No, I guess it's not. She took a breath. Can I ask you something? Why didn't you fight? Why didn't you yell or break things or make this ugly? I thought about it. Because you weren't worth the energy. What you did was ugly enough without me adding to it. Her face crumpled, and for a second I almost felt bad. Almost. Then I remembered 2:47 a.m. on a Tuesday. It was just one night. Goodbye, I said, and walked to my car. I found out 2 months later through mutual friends that Derek had stopped returning her calls about a week after our divorce finalized. Apparently, the thrill of an affair was different from the reality of a girlfriend who came with baggage and emotional damage. Apparently, sneaking around was exciting, but actually building something required work he wasn't interested in doing. She'd called him crying one night, our friend said, asking why he'd ghosted her. He'd told her straight. Look, you were fun when it was secret, but I'm not trying to be some divorced woman's rebound. Find someone else. She tried to come back. Showed up at my apartment building twice. Called me 17 times from different numbers before I blocked them all. Sent emails that went straight to my spam folder. The subject lines were always the same variations. Please talk to me. I made a mistake. I was wrong about everything. Mitchell advised me not to respond. You're done. Stay done. I stayed done. 6 months after the divorce, I ran into her at a coffee shop downtown. She looked different, thinner, tired, older somehow. She was with someone I didn't recognize, another woman, probably a friend. She saw me and froze. I gave her a polite nod and turned back to my laptop. She approached my table anyway. Hey, how are you? Good. You? I'm okay. Living with my sister right now. Saving up for my own place. That's good. Silence stretched between us like taffy. I'm sorry, she said suddenly. For everything. I know I said it before, but I mean it. I destroyed the best thing in my life for something that meant nothing. Okay. That's it. Just okay. I looked up at her. Really looked at her. What do you want me to say? That I forgive you? That I understand? I don't. I won't. What you did was your choice, and the consequences are yours to live with. I live with them every day. Good. Maybe you'll make better choices next time. She stood there a moment longer, and I could see her trying to find words that would change something, anything. But there were no words left between us. We'd used them all up. Take care of yourself, she finally said. You too. She walked back to her friend, and I went back to my laptop. 5 minutes later, they left. I didn't watch them go. A year after that Tuesday night, I made partner at my firm. The promotion came with a significant raise, a corner office, and a sense of accomplishment that actually felt real. I was dating someone new, a woman I'd met at a conference who made me laugh and never made me feel like I had to question her words. We took things slow. She understood why. My apartment became a condo. My condo became a place I actually enjoyed coming home to. I still thought about that night sometimes. About standing in my kitchen at 2:47 a.m. About the phone glowing in the darkness. About 5 words that changed everything. It was just one night. People always ask me if I have regrets. If I moved too fast, ended things too quickly, gave up too easily. I tell them the truth. The only thing I regret is not seeing it sooner. Not recognizing the signs, the distance, the small lies that built up to the big one. But ending it. Walking away. Refusing to be someone's backup plan or second choice. I don't regret that for a second. Because here's what I learned. Love isn't supposed to be conditional. It's not supposed to come with escape clauses and safety nets. It's not supposed to make you feel like you're competing with personal trainers and late-night texts. Real love chooses you. Every day, in the boring moments and the exciting ones. When you're tired from work and when you're at your best. She didn't choose me. She chose excitement, novelty, the fantasy of something different. And I chose myself. I chose my dignity, my self-respect, my future without someone who'd already shown me exactly who she was when she thought I wasn't looking. Some people said I was cold, unforgiving, that I should have given her another chance. But I gave her 10 years of chances, 10 years of trust, 10 years of building something I thought would last. She took one night to burn it all down. So I took one night to walk away. Fair trade, in my book. These days, I don't think about her much. She's a chapter in my story that's closed, filed away with other lessons learned the hard way. Sometimes I wonder if she thinks about that night. If she replays it in her head. If she wishes she could take back those 5 words. But mostly, I don't wonder at all. I'm too busy living the life I built from the ashes of the one she destroyed. And it turns out, that life is pretty damn good. Better than good, actually. It's mine. Completely, honestly, entirely mine. And no one can take a single night of it away from me. Not anymore.